Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. 98% of CEOs surveyed in the Conference Board measure of CEO confidence reported that they are prepared and expecting a recession in the next 12 months. So the heads of all the multinational corporations are all pointing to the same thing. 98% of them saying recession is on its way. So if you're preparing for things, one of the things that you should almost certainly be prepared for is a recession/depression type event. That mass layoffs, economy going into the gutter. Are your finances in a place where you can sustain potential loss of work, potential having to search for a new job, potentially just your income not keeping up with the prices that are going up out there. Just because you may keep your job, people around you in your family, other people that you know may suffer and may struggle really, really bad. You may get stuck in the job that you're in a best case scenario, right? You may not be able to move to a new job or to continue to advance or climb the corporate ladder that you're trying to do. So thinking through all of that, if you get laid off and you're dependent upon that income, will you be able to transition to food stores that you have and your financial reserves that you have? Do you have enough to kind of get yourself back up on your feet until you can find new employment or a new way of providing for your family? So think through those type of things and just what do they know? What do these CEOs know that you and I don't know? Because if you go out on the street and you start talking to people, I promise you 98% of them will not say that there is a recession almost certain in the next 12 months. Most of the people on the street level are not thinking recession right now. But the CEOs at the top who are looking at all the numbers, looking at the numbers from their company, looking at the numbers from other companies, they're seeing recession, recession, recession. Home prices are down. We're seeing that the value of houses dropping rapidly. We're seeing layoffs accelerating. Companies are getting prepared for the recession by freezing wages, freezing bonuses, and getting ready to start cutting people. And some of the companies are already cutting people. You look in Washington, D.C., over 120 tent cities, homeless encampments in Washington, D.C. alone. We see more and more people moving to not having homes. People are being evicted from rental properties. They are having their homes increasingly foreclosed on. And people are not able to refinance their mortgages because of rates going through the roof. Across the board, we're seeing more and more economic signs that things are getting worse financially. Are you prepared to weather the storm? We have our banking system is more and more susceptible to collapse. I strongly urge you to consider becoming your own bank. I do encourage things like silver or gold. It's not investment advice, but it is life advice, if you will. We have seen what these banks will do when they are in crisis. They will do whatever it takes to survive, and you don't want to be near them as they're grasping around, as they're drowning, as they're going under. You don't want to have your money sitting in their vaults because bail-ins have happened where they take all the assets. This is not what they should do, and we haven't seen too much of it recently, but your money becomes liable in some cases. Now, if it's sitting in a bank account, it is supposedly guaranteed and by the federal government. But, and that's the big thing, but if it's in investments, if it's in other types of accounts, you need to be careful. Savings accounts, checking accounts are supposedly backed up by the full faith and credit of the American government, which is meaning less and less these days. What happens when you go to the bank and they say you have the money there, but they refuse to give it to you? That's the type of situation that we have to be very concerned about. People who have been trying to get cash out of the banks have been running into this type of thing. So get control of your assets, get control of your finances, because even though you may have enough money, you may not have access to that money. You may not be able to use that money if it's not for an approved purchase, and you may get throttled in your accessing of your money. We're seeing that in other places. There was I forget which country it was, where the woman was basically robbing the bank in order to get her money out of the bank. She wasn't trying to take other people's money. She was just trying to take her money out of the bank, and she had to do that with threats of violence. That is not encouraged, of course. Think ahead. Get your money out before the bank run. Get your money out before they start freezing assets. That type of thing. So with recession coming, do you have the finances to withstand that? Do you have a side business, a side hustle? I still have some side hustles that I have ready to go. I've actually kind of taken those a little bit offline just recently because I've been focusing on YouTube's. But I have those ready to dust off. If things break down here on YouTube and things go awry business-wise, I can go back to making some of my specialty products that I won't get into here. Not because they're illegal, it's just because I have corner on the market and I don't want any of you guys taking my business ideas, right? So I made some money doing that, and I think I could scale up some of those things. Some of the things that isn't really controversial or isn't something that you could steal from me. I plan on scaling up my microgreens in order to sell those at farmers markets. I think that's a great idea. That's a local thing where you all across the rest of the country aren't going to be able to steal my business. But that's one aspect there. Growing food, growing microgreens is something that you can do indoors, even in a low economy. So just think about what kind of side businesses you can do. Do you knit? Do you sew? Do you repair? Can you repair clothing? Can you make new clothing? That's stuff that when inflation really takes off, imports are going to get a lot more expensive, and it may make a lot more sense for people to have their clothes repaired rather than just junking them and buying new. If you can sew on buttons, if you can repair cuts or holes, that is something that may be very valuable. Just thinking through auto repairs. Can you do auto repairs? Even if it's just basic stuff, you can save people a ton of money from going to an auto repair shop. You might be able to take some of that money home. So just thinking through, how can you get through this recession? The CEOs are preparing for recession. Are you and your family preparing for recession? Yes, I know things could get even worse and things can collapse completely, but if things just partially collapse, if they partially collapse like they did in Venezuela, Argentina, you having that side business that you can trade your skills for people's resources might make a whole lot of sense. All right, folks, if you found this video useful or helpful, you might want to check out this other video right here. Please do make sure you're still subscribed and not been unsubscribed. That way you can keep getting access to this content. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Steve Poplar, out.